Call to order City Council meeting number 1322, October 15, 2018. Let us stand for the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Clerk, call the roll, please.
Burns.
Here.
Collins.
Here.
Herbie.
Here.
Holt.
Here.
Johnson.
Here.
Moore.
Here.
Nuss.
Here.
Let the record show that all members of council are present and accounted for. Item number 2 is minutes. You received a copy of the minutes. Are there any corrections or additions to the minutes? Hearing none, we'll move to item number 3, presentations. The first of the presentations would be Business of the Month, award to Wild Birds Unlimited. Mr. Paul Brehm.
Mayor, members of council, thank you very much. Our October Business of the Month is no stranger to those of us who have lived in Forest Park for a while. With more than 2 decades of bird feeding experience and expertise, Wild Birds Unlimited specializes in bringing people and nature together with quality bird food, bird feeders, bird baths, and other nature products. Indeed, the Forest Park location is celebrating its 24th anniversary here in Forest Park. Wild Birds Unlimited is the largest specialty retailer of backyard bird feeding supplies and products in the country. They have over 300 franchise locations across the United States and Canada, all owned by people who are passionate about the hobby of backyard bird feeding. Their owners are passionate people, passionate about the hobby, passionate about backyard bird feeding, and passionate, most importantly, about their customers. They love nature, they love wild birds, and they love sharing their enthusiasm with those who come into the store. Indeed, store owners are your backyard bird feeding experts and a premier source for nature information and quality products. What truly distinguishes this company from its competitors, though, is the commitment to each and every one of its customers. They enjoy helping their customers understand birds and nature, swapping stories about the latest bird sightings, and seeing other people share that excitement. And Tim, you and I have to talk because I'm probably the absolute worst, so I've got a lot to learn from you. Indeed, we are quite fortunate to see that commitment firsthand from owner Tim Coates and his expert team. Tim has been a member of the Forest Park community for quite a long time. His commitment to his customers and indeed our city is simply outstanding. You know, we always recognize new businesses to our community. It's very nice to recognize one of our long-standing members here in the community and someone who's done so much for Forest Park. So with that, I'd like to invite Tim up to accept the award. Tim Coates.
Congratulations and thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mayor.
Like I said, City of Forest Park, Business of the Month, Wild Birds Unlimited, in recognition of the company's contribution to the growth and development of the City of Forest Park. We thank you. Congratulations, Wild Birds Unlimited. You have a word for us?
Oh, thank you. Yeah, the city is very kind, and the city has been very kind to me for 24 years. In fact, it's going to be 24 years in about 2 weeks. I think on the 25th is when we opened our doors in 1995. I can tell you that Tim Allen has a famous sitcom show on called Last Man Standing. This Tim Coates, I think this award may be for the last retailer standing in Promenade Shopping Center. We were sorry to see Fitworks go, and we're hoping that other people will decide to come into Promenade because I am one lonely retailer back there. But like I said, the city has been very considerate to me, and if any of you have never been in, the coffee is always on. 24 years, we've never been without the coffee, have we? There's an antique Coke machine. You can pull Cokes out of an 80-year-old Coke machine in there now, which I just acquired not too long ago. And if you need anything for your backyard, you know, it's not just bird seed and bird feeders. We have a huge assortment of Charlie Harper T-shirts, coffee cups, coasters. We have the best wind chimes you'll ever buy. Birdhouses, garden art, nature jewelry, that kind of thing. T-shirts, yes, the Charlie Harper T-shirts, other T-shirts, yeah, she was trying to remind me there. We're open 10 to 8:30. Most stores close at 6. I'm a diehard. I'll stay open till 8:30 for anybody, but we are closed on Sunday, so don't come by on a Sunday. This is very, very nice. I think the last time I actually stood in this building was the last time I received one of these, which was like 20 years ago. And the time before that, I thought this was, you might find this interesting. I was sitting here and I testifying to how I wanted the city council to make the write-in, write-out only at Promenade. Do you remember that? Anybody? I don't think any of you were sitting back then. Some of you remember that. And I said, I have a contract in my briefcase waiting to sign it so that, you know, if you put that write-in, write-out only in there, I'll sign the contract for the building. And that's when it was the old scoreboard, of course, which I was at for 11 years. But anyway, it's nice to be back in the building. It's nice to receive this award. I will put it in the store proudly. You are very kind, and I thank you very much.
Any comments from members of council? Councilwoman, excuse me, Councilwoman Collins?
Yes. When you first opened up, I remember touring the place like it was the zoo. I mean, it was just that kind of excitement. And I am so proud that you are still here and that we have our own piece of a zoo right here, and people can just come in and make friends with the birds.
Certainly can. Now, of course, you may not realize this, we don't sell birds.
Yeah,
It's just backyard birds. But I do have like a hummingbird feeder on my window, and they come every summer right there to the store, right to the park.
but you had so many, like, it was like a museum in there for birds.
Well, yes, we have, more than our share of kitty cats. But thank you, you're very kind.
Anyone else? Councilwoman Herbie?
Yes, I'm an avid customer there, and I get my seed and my suet packets and my hummingbird feeder and more, and I appreciate it so much, and I come in and get my kitty fix too. And so I'm so glad that you are receiving this, because you are a good business owner in our community. Thank you so much.
Anyone else? Thank you. Next item on the agenda, item B, presentation of a plaque for former Clerk of Council Kathy Lives. I would ask Dave and/or other family members to please come forward. Well, obviously, this is special for me because Kathy meant so much to me, both professionally and personally. I know that you got tired of me calling all the time with my questions about Robert's Rules of Order and all of the other things that she would tell me, Chuck, don't do it that way. Chuck, do it this, do that. And not only that, but any time that I needed anything or that we as council needed anything, she was there to get that for us, give that to us. Always available, a wealth of knowledge. In addition to that, she volunteered for so many of our committees and commissions. She chaired a number of them. I can't tell you, there's just not enough words to talk about all of the things that Kathy Lives did and what Kathy Lives meant to this city. So as a small token, I will instead read this plaque that we have for her. Forest Park City Council recognizes Kathy Lives posthumously for outstanding dedication and loyal service to the city of Forest Park as chair and member of the Charter Revision Committee from 9/17/07 to 8/5/18. Dave, thank you, and please accept this on her behalf.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm sure, I wish she was here to accept this, but she's watching you. so be careful what you do, because the former clerk is still doing things. But she enjoyed the city here and enjoyed all her time here. I should state I introduced my daughter Karen, her husband Steve, my other daughter Jenna, and Kurt, my son. So they all participated in any activity she was involved with. So we will certainly miss her, but she's up there watching you guys, so. And we hope everything continues to go well. So thank you very much for the plaque. I've got some more of these if anybody knows what to do with them.
Any comments from any members of council? Again, Councilwoman
Yes,
Rollins.
Kathy Lives was my friend. She was my friend when I became a councilwoman. I too would pull her over or corner her at church and ask her about this and that, and she just a wealth of knowledge, a warm and loving person. Yes, she will be truly, truly missed, and I agree, she is watching us.
Councilwoman Herbie.
Yes, Kathy, like you said, is an incredible influence on councils down through the terms of where she was served here. But a lot of people may not know Kathy's impact has gone far beyond Forest Park. I mean, she was well known regionally and involved regionally in clerks associations and statewide, and that's a great credit to her and to how well respected she was by other clerks of council throughout the state. And she is missed very much. But she's did a wonderful job of training our clerk of council, Sally. So we thank her for that too.
Anyone else? Mr. Barnes.
I think about Kathy often because of the way she touched so many people. And it didn't matter where you saw her. At least for me, I can only speak, there was always a hug. And I miss her. I really do. You know, I just miss her, and I know you do too. And that's just a small token that we could provide to show you and your family how much she was appreciated.
Thank you. Thanks.
Anybody else? Dave and Kathy and I go way, way, way back, more years than I would like to even try to think of. I think Dave was on council a few months before me initially, and I think Dave and I are probably two of the few people on council that sat in all of the seats all the way up and all the way down. And when as Mr. Burns said, whenever Kathy was around, everybody knew it. You know, you knew that if there were questions, whether it was about council, whether it was about the charter, whether it was a charter committee, or whether whether it was the Christmas parties for environmental, you name it, Kathy Lives was always there. You know, the Citizens on Patrol, and on and on and on and on. It's rare that one person would have. And let me correct it, it was one person in the sense that they were the same person. It was actually two of them, but we counted them as one, would have that much involvement in our city. So, Dave and I, we talk, and I remember the picture that Dave showed me when Kathy owned the laundromat, and I'm pretty sure none of you know that, but the building is still there. So, thanks, Dave.
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, and thank you.
Thank you very much.
The next recognition that we have is for another person in the city who is still with us and has worked as a former city council person. He's also the most recent past president of the Planning Commission, and probably most importantly, a former veteran of the United States Air Force, if I'm not mistaken. Barry Owens, for his recognition and dedication and loyal service to the city of Forest Park as the chair and member of the Planning Commission from December 2005 to September of 2018. Barry couldn't be here tonight, so I'm going to give this plaque to Chris to provide to Barry as the Planning Commission person. So, thank you.
It's too bad that Barry couldn't be here. We all miss him on the Planning Commission. I think the mayor and Councilman Burns would agree with that. And he was one of those people that when he decided not to run, that's what he did. He just stepped down from council. He didn't exit. You know, he stuck around and gave us 13 years of service on the Planning Commission, which I personally very much appreciate. Thank you.
Okay, at this point, we would move to the next item, item number 5, communication from the public. But before we do that, as always is our practice, those of you who wish to stay for the rest of the meeting are certainly welcome to, and those who would choose to leave at this point may do that also. And we'll give you an opportunity to do that at this time. Okay, next item is item number 4, communication from the public. This is a time for citizens to comment on matters before council or to ask questions of concern to them. When recognized, please come forward to the podium, give your name and address, and then state your comments or questions. Council meetings are tape recorded for ease of transcription. Comments are limited to 5 minutes. Is there anyone from the public, Mr. Smith, that would like to make a comment? Thank you. Councilwoman Holt, did you have a motion?
Yes, I would like to make a motion to amend the agenda to add item F, to convene to an executive session for discussion of the city manager's selection.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we add an item F to the agenda, that would be to have an executive session to discuss the selection process for city manager. Is there any discussion?
None.
Hearing none, would the clerk please call the roll on the amendment, on the, the motion?
Yes.
Collins,
Yes.
Herbie,
Yes.
Holt,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes,
Moore,
Yes.
Nuss.
Yes.
the motion passes 7-0, so we would add an item F. Next item on the agenda would be item number 5, reports of standing committees. The first of these standing committees, Councilwoman Holt, Human Resources.
I do not have a report tonight, thank you.
Questions for Councilwoman Holt? Hearing none, Councilwoman Holt, I have no items on the agenda for you for the 22nd. Do you have any to add?
No, I do not.
Next item on the agenda is item B, Public Improvement and Facilities. Councilwoman Moore.
Yes, I do not have a report at this time, but I do want to acknowledge that we have basketball signups, and they have begun, and they will run through run through October the 26th. And so I just wanted to make that announcement.
Any questions for Councilwoman Moore? Hearing none, Councilwoman Moore, do you have, I have no agenda items for you for the 22nd. Do you have any to add?
No, I do not.
Thank you. Next standing committee is Public Safety, Councilwoman Nuss.
I do not have a report at this time, but I too have an announcement and just a safety precaution for as we're entering, well, we are in Halloween season. Children right now are 4 times more likely to be wounded and fatally hit in a pedestrian fatality with, walking around for trick-or-treating. So please be mindful and be careful. Please walk with your kiddos. And then also we have our Harvest Fest, and the fire department's having its open house on October 27th. That's all that I have at this time, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Any questions for Councilwoman Nuss? Hearing none, Councilwoman Nuss, I have no items on the agenda for you. Do you have any to add?
No, I do not.
Next item on the agenda is Ways and Means Committee, Councilwoman Herbie.
Yes, I just want to mention that since the last council meeting, we did have our employee volunteer recognition dinner, and I want to thank all of our employees for the service that they provide to the city and those who were honored for perfect attendance and also for milestone anniversaries of service. And also thank all of our volunteers, and I think on behalf of Ms. Holt, I would say that there are always openings available. If anyone is interested, you can check them out, and we would certainly appreciate anyone who's interested. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions for Councilwoman Herbie? Hearing none, Councilwoman Herbie, I have no items on the agenda for you. Do you have any to add? Next committee report is Community Development Committee. Mr. Barnes.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have no report this evening. However, if there are any questions, I would be more than happy to try to address them.
Any questions for Mr. Barnes? Hearing none. Next item on the agenda is Standing Committees, Law Committee, Councilwoman Collins.
Mr. Mayor, I do not have a report from the Law Committee at this time. However, I am available for questions.
Any questions for Councilwoman Collins? Hearing none, Councilwoman Collins, I have no items on the agenda for the work session of the 22nd. Do you have any to add?
No, not at this time.
Next, excuse me. Next standing committee is Intergovernmental Relations and Communications. I have no report, but I would be available. I will answer any questions if there are any. Seeing that there are no questions, we will move to item number 6, the mayor's report. I too would like to add my thanks to all of those who participated in and planned and worked to make the volunteer employee dinner a success. Additionally to those folk, I would like to thank the Hall of Fame's committee, Mr. Smith, for the work you did in bringing us those selections of the people who were added to the Hall of Fame. Also, I believe that I would like to thank the school district for inviting us again to participate in their homecoming parade, and to all council members who gave not only of their time but of their candy to make that parade a success. And I would like to personally say, I learned a lot riding with other council members at that parade in reference to the kind of candies that they liked and didn't like. And I would I'd like to offer a special thank you to 2 of those council members, Councilwoman Moore and Councilwoman Nuss, because as I get older, the kind of candies that I used to enjoy and like are no longer around, but I got quite an education from them as to what was still out there. And frankly, the contrast was really kind of comical, because on the one side of me was Councilman Burns, who was pointing out he had more candy than everybody else. He had more kinds of candy than everybody else. But I will say he did share. He did share with us, offered to share, I should say. But I think for sure Councilwoman Nuss took him up on his offers more than the rest of us did. So, again, thank you all for that participation. It rained a little bit, but not enough to dampen the spirit of the parade. And again, thank you to the school district. And as usual, that was a successful parade. I would answer any questions if you have any for the mayor. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is item number 7, City Manager, Mr. Hodges.
Thank you. I'll only report that the departmental reports have been completed, included in the council packet, and also placed on file with the clerk of council for public inspection. We'll also be conducting a Talking with Forest Park program this Friday with Waycross Studio. We'll focus primarily on the redevelopment of the Northland Shopping Center and possibly our recruitment efforts in the fire department for more young individuals, and particularly individuals from the community. That would conclude my report, but I would respond to any questions if there are any.
Any questions for City Manager? Hearing none, we'll move to item number 8, other reports. First of those being Mr. Wyckoff.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have had an opportunity, at the request of Mr. Lewandowski, to review the newly proposed Cincinnati Bell Agreement for services to the city. And also, I've been working with Lieutenant James Ward of the Police Department in establishing a procedure for the Police Department to use with respect to requests for incident reports and motor vehicle accident reports, that type of report involving minors and what can and cannot be disclosed. That is the end of my report, unless there are any questions.
Any questions for Law Director? Hearing none, thank you, Mr. Wyckoff. Next report is Clerk of Council, Mrs. Dirksen.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I do not have a report this evening.
Any questions for Clerk of Council? Hearing none, thank you, Mrs. Dirksen. Next item on the agenda is item number 9. Is there a motion? Mr. Burns.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I move to suspend the rules requiring the reading in full and read by title only resolutions number 27-2018 through 29-2018. These resolutions were posted 6 days prior to the meeting.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we suspend the rules requiring the reading in full and read by title only resolutions numbers 27 through 2018 and 29 through 2018. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. Would you call a roll on the motion to suspend?
Collins,
Yes.
Herbie,
Yes.
Holt,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Moore,
Yes.
Nuss,
Yes.
Burns.
Yes.
Motion to suspend passes 7-0. First item under new business, item A, resolution number 27-2018. The clerk, please read that resolution by title only.
Resolution number 27-2018. A resolution authorizing the city manager to renew a contract for engineering services with Branstetter Carroll, Inc.
Is there a motion, Councilwoman Herbie?
I move adoption of resolution number 27-2018.
Second.
Been moved and seconded that we adopt resolution 27-2018. Is there a discussion? Councilwoman Herbie.
Yes, this and the next 2 resolutions are our annual reauthorization of engineering contracts. We contract with these outside consultants for specific engineering needs as necessary. And this first one is with Branstetter Carroll, who we usually consult on our street improvement program. And so I would urge adoption of this resolution.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, the clerk please call the roll on resolution 27-2018.
Herbie,
Yes.
Holt,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Moore,
Yes.
Nuss, Burns,
Yes.
Collins.
Yes.
Resolution 27-2018 passes 7-0. Next item, item B, resolution 28-2017. Is there, 2018. Would the clerk please read this resolution by title only?
Resolution number 28-2018. A resolution to renew an engineering agreement with CT Consultants for engineering services to the city of Forest Park.
Is there a motion, Councilwoman Herbie?
Yes, I would move adoption of resolution number 28-2018.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we adopt resolution 28-2018. Is there a discussion, Councilwoman Herbie?
Yes, CT Consultants are primary engineering services, and Frank Tyhus, who's employed by CT Consultants, is our city engineer. They consult with us primarily on a range of architecture and landscaping, traffic and civil engineering issues. And they specialize in municipal engineering field and are employed widely throughout this area. So I would urge adoption of this resolution.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, the clerk please call the roll on Resolution 28-2018.
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Moore,
Yes.
Nuss,
Yes.
Burns,
Yes.
Collins,
Yes.
Herbie.
Yes.
Resolution 28-2018 passes 7-0. Next item on the agenda, item C, Resolution 29-2018. Will the clerk please read this resolution by title only?
Resolution number 29-2018, a resolution authorizing the city manager to renew the contract for engineering services with Burgess and Nyepel Limited.
Is there a motion, Councilwoman Herbie?
Yes, I would move adoption of resolution number 29-2018.
Second.
Been moved and seconded that we adopt Resolution 29-2018. Is there discussion? Councilwoman Herbie?
Yes, Burgess and Nyepel is the engineering firm we use primarily with our stormwater management design work. And so I would urge adoption of this resolution.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, would the clerk please call the roll on 29-2018?
Johnson,
Yes.
Moore,
Yes.
Nuss,
Yes.
Burns,
Yes.
Collins,
Yes.
Herbie,
Yes.
Holt.
Yes.
Resolution 29-2018 passes 7-0. Next item on the agenda is item D, Resolution number 30-2018. Would the clerk please read this resolution in full?
Resolution number 30-2018, a resolution accepting the amounts and rates as determined by the Budget Commission, authorizing the necessary tax levies and certifying them to the county auditor. Whereas the Council of the City of Forest Park, Ohio, in accordance with City Revised Code Section 5705.34 and all the other provisions of law, has previously adopted the tax budget for the next succeeding fiscal year, commencing January the 1st, 2019. And whereas the Budget Commission of Hamilton County, Ohio, has certified its action thereon to this council, and what part thereof is without, and what part were within the 10 mil limitations, therefore be it. Now therefore, be it resolved by the Council of the City of Forest Park, Hamilton County, Ohio, Section 1, that the amount and rates as determined by the Budget Commission in its certification be and the same are hereby accepted. Section 2, that there be and is hereby levied on the tax duplicate of this city the rate of each tax necessary to be levied within and without the 10 mil limitation as contained in Exhibit A, attached hereto, and made a part of this resolution. Section 3, this resolution shall be in full force and take effect from and after its passage.
Is there a motion, Councilwoman Herbie?
Yes, I would move adoption of resolution number 30-2018.
Second.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we adopt Resolution 30-2018. Is there discussion? Councilwoman Herbie?
Yes, in simple terms, this is a step in our budgeting process. We start this process with our tax budget that we submit to the county every year. From that, they reassess our tax levy amounts and report back to us, and that's what we are asking, that we accept those amounts and rates as determined by the Budget Commission and certify them to the county auditor for collection. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, would the clerk please call the roll on Resolution 30-2018?
Moore,
Yes.
Nuss,
Yes.
Burns,
Yes.
Collins,
Yes.
Herbie,
Yes.
Holt,
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes. Resolution 30-2018 passes 7-0. Next item on the agenda is item E, a motion. Councilwoman Herbie.
Yes, I would move to receive the general fund summary reports as contained in the departmental reports.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we receive the general fund summary reports as contained in the departmental reports. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion to receive the general fund summary report, let it be known by the sign of voting aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Next item on the agenda is item F, a motion. Councilwoman Holt.
I would like to make a motion to convene to an executive session to discuss the selection of a city manager.
Second.
Been moved and seconded that we adjourn into executive session for the purpose of discussing the selection process for the city manager. Any discussion?
Yes.
Yes.
I would like to also make a motion, if it needs to be done by motion, that the law director accompanies us into that executive session, whereas I know that I have issues that would require that he would be able to address.
You can-
Mayor, motion's not necessary. I'll
It's
be-
not a necessary motion. He will attend. Okay. The motion on the floor to adjourn into executive session. If there any discussion, any additional discussion, the clerk please call the roll on the motion for executive session.
Nuss,
Yes.
Burns. Yes. Collins,
Yes.
Herbie,
Yes.
Holt,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Moore.
Yes.
At this point, we will adjourn into executive session. No business will be conducted or no votes will be taken. We will, once we're done, we will come back. A motion will be made to end executive session and reconvene into the regular meeting. And then, if there being no further business, we will adjourn the regular meeting. At this point, we will adjourn to 3B. City of Forest Park Council Public Hearing, October 15, 2018. The agenda item for the public hearing is rezoning of 1140 Smiley Avenue from Plan B business, planned business to R1, one family residency. Mr. Anderson, I believe you're here for that.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm Chris Anderson, Community Development Director for the City of Forest Park. The application for rezoning is from the Planned Business District to the R1 District for a 2.64 acre parcel that most recently had the underground. A little history on this parcel. It was originally part of a farm, and it wasn't part of the Cantor properties. Interstate 275 came along, took about a third of the property for the interstate and the interchange. Then the family sold off approximately 13 acres to Dayspring Church of God. And that church was constructed in 1980. Dayspring subsequently divided off this 2.5 acre parcel on the west end of their property so that they could sell it to Leaps and Bounds. This is a former restaurant concept, and they built the building that's there now. After Leaps and Bounds went out of business, the property was acquired by a group that opened the Underground, which was a music venue, and it had a Christian focus and was aimed at teenagers. Also, we actually classified it as a coffee house, but a sort of gathering place. The Underground was in place from about 2004 until early this year, and they, I think, lost some of their funding and decided to cease operations. And that left the building up for sale and reuse. And Red Door Church, which is a congregation that is currently in Fairfield, put the property under contract. They had previously met for approximately 5 years at the underground. They held services there. And they were never the primary use during that period. The primary use was the underground, the music venue. And this was an accessory use, basically a subtenant. Another little piece of background is that in 2015, the city of Forest Park, we changed the zoning classification for churches such that they were no longer a permitted use in the planned business district. And that was partly to preserve business zone land for business and contribute to the economic tax base of the city. We still had areas that were zoned for churches, including the R1 and R2 districts and the office and planned office districts. The Planning Commission reviewed this application at their meeting in September, and the focus of the review basically was on the use category that I just mentioned. The reason for this rezoning is pretty simple in that Red Door Church can't use the property for the purpose that they have intended for it with the zoning that it has. Dayspring Church to the east still has the R1 zoning that originally was covered this property as well. And I'm sorry, I forgot to mention that. When Dayspring sold the property to Leaps and Bounds, it was rezoned from R1 to PB. So this would be taking it back to R1. The only objection that we had from a staff standpoint, and I'm not even sure I would characterize it fully as an objection, but just to note that the property itself was not built as a church and could be used for another restaurant, another kind of business use. It is located pretty far up Smiley. So the best thing for the property in terms of business use is that it has the interstate frontage. But otherwise, it's a little bit off the beaten path as far as commercial uses in the Winton Road corridor. But on the flip side of that, the religious use of the property is nothing new, as I mentioned with the underground. And then even that with the land prior to that being owned by Dayspring. We believe that Red Door Church has a very good chance of success at this location. They've have a history with it. And the final point really is that this is not creating a zone or an island in the middle of planned business. It's basically moving the boundary from one side of the property to the other, transferring 2.64 acres to the R1 side, where it once was. And then finally, if this were approved and the church went through with their purchase, you would have Red Door and then Dayspring. And then there's a possibility on some additional land that Dayspring has that they are looking, they have a sister congregation that is a Spanish language congregation of building a smaller church on a portion of that property. That would, of course, come through with another review at a future date. But it would be a small cluster of church uses, which is a good land arrangement. So, the Planning Commission voted 6-0 to recommend the rezoning, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Mr. Anderson? Any questions for Mr. Anderson? Hearing none.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now, hold on, Mr. Anderson, just a minute. Any questions from the audience for Mr. Anderson? Does anybody in the audience have any questions, or is there anyone in the audience who would like to speak to this rezoning issue? Yes, sir.
Good evening. Thanks for having me. Jason Brown, representing Red Door Church. Again, just to echo what Mr. Anderson and his staff put together, a well-thought-out staff report, kind of giving the history. As he mentioned, the most important thing, I think, for us is, we've been there. There's history with us in the facility. We're excited to come back, be part of it. Be in the community gives us a launching point for a lot of missions that we'd like to do in the area. So we're hopeful that the rezoning goes through and fit in as part of the community like we have been in the past 5 years. So, yes, miss.
Yes, I have a question for him.
Yes.
This may have already been answered, I'm sorry if it has been, but will there still be a musical component to any of the space dedicated?
We won't, I guess, from a zoning perspective, I'll let Chris speak. I don't think we're planning on doing any kind of music like the Underground did. Again, we're still fully vetting all of our options that we could do in there, but it's mainly a congregation gathering space. There'll be some teen outreach, young life, other opportunities maybe for a function in the evening, but it won't be a steady kind of concert venue like it was before.
Thank you.
Yep.
Anything else from anybody else on this issue?
Thank you.
Hearing no one?
I'm sorry, that's one brief question. There was a partnership with Winton Woods over there. I know that was more like videography, but with that young teen life outreach, will you all still be able to have a partnership with the school?
We're still hoping to continue those relationships. We have a lot of folks in our congregation do both the young life and the wildlife, which is kind of the junior high folks. So I know we have a lot of teachers and coaches over there. So I know there's that connection already, and that's one of the opportunities that we're looking forward to exploring and continuing there.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Anything else from anyone else? Hearing none, we declare the public hearing closed, and we have a minute or two before the opening of the regular meeting.